At this time, I would like to ask Board Member Dan Snipes if he will lead us in our invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Lord, as a board, we ask you to keep your faith and lost families. Lord, we were those who have figured back in time, lost a son. We ask for your continued blessing on this state and citizens. Lord, we ask for your wisdom as this board does its state business. We also ask you to remind all of us to take a moment as we celebrate the birth of your son. Remember why we celebrate during this Christmas season. We ask for your continued blessing on all of us here. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will ask our Secretary of our Board to please call the roll.
Okay, I will go by Congressional District. District 1, Ms. Purcell.
Present.
2, Ms. Williams. 3, Mr. McIntyre.
Present.
4, Mr. Brown. 5, Ms. Key. 6, Mr. Bowen.
Here.
7, Mr. Thompson. 8, Mr. Golden.
Here.
9, Ms. Dunn. 10, Mr. Boswell. 11, Mr. Lewis.
Here.
12, Mr. Snipes.
Here.
13, Ms. Lemon. And 14, Mr. Gravely.
Here.
That gives us a quorum for our meeting today. I want to welcome everyone here. We have had an outstanding committee meetings yesterday that went through with a lot of important things and new facts that were brought to us. And I am very proud to have each and every one of you in attendance today. With that, you've received our minutes from our last board meeting and have had that opportunity to review those minutes. And at this time, I will accept a motion that we accept and approve. And a second, I have any conversation, any corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed likewise. The ayes carry. At this time, I would like to ask Mr. Albert Shelby if he will come forward, our Director of Program Delivery, and give us our report for the January 2025 letting.
So, good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioner, and members of the board. I'm here to present the projects that the department is proposing to advertise in the January 2025 letting. So before we present the January 2025 letting, here are the current FY 2025 results. We have led a total of 128 projects in fiscal year 2025. This chart shows the number of projects by improvement type. The value of these 128 projects is approximately $1 billion through the November 2024 bid awards. Of the 128 projects, 126 were GDOT let with an approximate value of $999 million, and 2 were local let projects approximately valued at $7 million. This chart shows the dollar amount distribution by improvement type, with bridge, roadway, and maintenance projects making up the bulk of these improvement types. Here are the results of the November 2024 letting. Of the 26 GDOT let contracts that were presented to the board, 24 were awarded, 1 was rejected, and 1 was deferred. Now I'm going to discuss the projects that are in the January 2025 letting. We have a total of 9 projects in this letting. All are GDOT lets. The next slide lists those 9 projects arranged by congressional district. So as you can see with this slide, we are letting a variety of projects throughout the state to address bridge capacity and safety issues. The first highlighted project will replace the structurally deficient bridge on County Line Road over Potato Creek in Spalding County. The existing bridge was constructed in 1956, 68 years ago. And here is a ground view of that bridge to be replaced. This next project in Monroe County is located at the intersection of State Route 74 and State Route 42. The proposed reconstruction consists of a one-lane roundabout with 12-foot lanes in both directions. The overall length of the project is 0.8 miles. This next project is located at the intersection of State Route 124, which is also State Route 60, and Sam Freeman Road, approximately 2.9 miles east of Brazelton. This project will replace the existing intersections, which consist of two minor stop-control intersections, approximately 100 feet apart, with a dual-lane roundabout for a project length of 0.45 miles. This next project will alleviate congestion and reduce crash frequency on Bills Ferry Road. The limits are at South Fork Way on the south end, and North Victory Drive, and on the north end is Victory Road, for a proposed length of 2.4 miles. This project will address capacity in this one of the most congested parts of Bills Ferry Road. This next project will improve the intersection of State Route 53 at Brownlee Road, which is also Plainville Road, to address safety concerns through the installation of a stop-controlled restricted crossing U-turn intersection that, to prevent through movement from the minor road crossing the main line. The next slide will show the design-build project, which is in the January 2025 letting, which was previously presented to the board for advancement advertisement. Here's that project and the board presentation letting that it was previously shown to the board, which was back in April. We will also be advertising in the January 2025 a design-build project that will actually let in the third quarter of calendar year 2025. We are advertising this early to receive an abundance of quality bids. That project will install new fiber optic cable along I-95 and new closed-circuit television cameras at various locations, improving connectivity, operations, and safety along the entire I-95 corridor and surrounding areas through a design-build contract. Here's an overview of the project limits for that particular project. Goes the length. So we have 9 projects proposed for the January 2025 letting. All 9 are GDOT lets. This chart shows the distribution by improvement types. The estimate of the projects in the January 2025 letting is approximately $103 million. This chart shows the dollar amount distribution by improvement type. I now ask for your consideration for approval of the proposed projects presented for the January 2025 letting.
Our committee now, our board has heard with the approval of the January 2025 lettings to be brought before us today. Do I have a motion to approve? A second. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, likewise. The ayes carry and motion is passed. Thank you. I would like to ask Mark Markham, our Deputy Director of Planning, to come forward and give us the revision to construction work plan.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioner, members of the board. I'm pleased to come before you this morning with proposed revisions to the construction work program. I have one revision to bring to you today. It is a recommended deletion from the program in Murray County, Congressional District 14. This is the first time I'm bringing this one to the board, so it is for review today. I'll be happy to take any questions. Otherwise, I'll bring it back to you for consideration at next month's meeting.
Any questions? Seeing none, thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Commissioner McMurray for our Commissioner's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I just told Tim, it looks like I have 50 minutes. All right. I'm going to go slow. You going to object? Well, it's good to be before you, and As always, we'll start with some data relating to state funds collections. Since we accelerated this board meeting a week, we actually do not have the excise collections reported just yet from this last November. We do have the fee component, which came in at $20.25 million, bringing the year-to-date part of the fees up to $97.9 million. And so that's where we stand. We will update you when we get that information in on how motor fuel collections came in for the month of November. Hopefully everybody's driving around, filling up early and filling up often. We appreciate that. And further our cause. I know Josh gave you an update yesterday, but I want to touch just a minute while we're on the financial part of this about what's going on again at the national level with the budget. It looks like Congress is poised again to do a continuing resolution. How long that is uncertain. The tea leaves sort of say into March as the new Congress comes in. And I'll tell you this as a cautionary tale that when they do continuing resolutions into March, it becomes difficult for us to deliver all the federal projects we have ready because we don't have the full federal amount of the money. During continuing resolutions, you get a daily pro rata share of the formula amount to Georgia. And inside of the daily pro rata share, if you remember, there's a lot of federal programs, some 12 to 13 federal programs. So we do work with Federal Highway very closely to use state dollars to fund a federal project. And then we get with an IOU attached to it, and then we get reimbursed from the feds when Congress passes a full appropriations. Then we reimburse ourselves from that federal IOU. But at some point, we can only go so far with the state money before we don't have any state money. And so if it goes to March, I'm just giving you early warning that we will have to pace ourselves on project lettings. And you can see at January, only 9 projects, 9 significant projects, I might add, but only 9 projects. We're trying to pace a little bit already, especially in some of our capital maintenance programs. So we'll keep you in tune with what's going on, and as you hear and see on TV of what's going on with Congress, you'll know when we do generally. But as they close out this year, and so just wanted to put that in front of you. Okay, on sort of the next item is always about the great women and men of GDOT, and we closed out November with 3,973 employees, so close to 4,000, man. We just get to 4,000. We hired 42 employees last month, and we had 42 separate. So we just kept our head at water level. So certainly appreciate all the staff. As we've been doing district visits here recently, it's amazing to see the great work the districts are doing in hiring, in recruiting and hiring. You heard about recruiting yesterday and hiring. It is a challenge. It's a big lift and a necessary one. As we went around and talked to the districts, I told everybody the most important decision you make is who you hire, right? And the second most important thing you do is invest in who you hired so that they become successful and stay with us. So certainly appreciate all the work from HR and all the hiring managers across the state. As it relates to procurement, for the month of November, 152 professional service contracts were executed, valued at $96 million. So bringing the fiscal year 25 year-to-date number to 1,015 contracts executed. That's amazing for 6 months, or 5 months rather. Valued at $516 million, or it sounds better to say over $500 million of professional service contracts that help us advance these projects to get to you to approve so that we can bid them and then build them. All right, so we move into some of the projects that opened up last month. We'll start down in Congressional District 1, Glenn County, GDOT District 5. Oh, that does not match up. Let me figure out where that is. That's Lawrence County. Maybe I clicked. Nope. Got a little slide problem here. Let me jump to Congressional District 12 then in Lawrence County. That looks a little more familiar, doesn't it, Dan? So GDOT District 2, capital bridge replacement project, consisted of construction of a bridge and approaches on US 80 over Indian Branch in Lawrence County. The contractor was Southeast Site Development, opened up on October 29th, so just came in right at the end of October, not November. Represented a $5.5 million capital bridge investment, and the project was opened on time. Next is a resurfacing project in Congressional District 12 up in Richmond County, which is GDOT District 2. This is a capital maintenance investment project. 11 miles of milling and shoulder rehabilitation and resurfacing on US 1 State Route 4. From the Richmond County line to south of Palm Creek in Richmond County, and you can see from that, that's also the Fall Line Freeway, 540. Represents a $9.1 million capital maintenance investment. Moving into Congressional District 3, Meriwether County, which is GDOT District 3 as well. A capital bridge replacement project consisted of construction of a bridge on State Route 109 over the Norfolk Southern Railroad. The contractor was McCoy Grading Incorporated. Opened to traffic on November 5th. Represents a $3.5 million project. And, you know, you never know how important these bridge projects are, and you always need help, especially ones in local communities, and this happened to be in the community of Greenville. And so, you know, we always look for help, especially this time of year. Of a beautiful bridge on the left, but if you can look on the right, we found this out there, that Santa also gave thanks for the bridge. And so we actually had Mike Gardner ride by and had to snap a picture of that, because we don't usually get that kind of thanks. So but it's great to have Santa on our side for getting this bridge done in Greenville. So next is a aviation project in Congressional District 2 in Bibb County, which is GDOT District 3. This is the Macon Downtown Airport. You know, Macon's got two airports. This is the downtown one. And it's reconstruction of a runway and replacement of the lighting system. And as you can see, the contrast from the left to the right, it is truly a runway replacement, which is a big project. It represented $6.4 million investment, with $2.6 coming from Federal Aviation Administration and $2.7 million coming from the state, and locally was $1 million investment. So great to have a new, strong, well-built runway there that will serve the Macon Downtown Airport for a very long time. The first project I thought I had a slide for, but I didn't. I just don't want to go back and highlight it, was resurfacing on State Route 25 in Glenn County, from Sidney Lanier Bridge up to the connector, 25 connector that goes back to I-95. So that's that whole area in Brunswick. Major project there. It was a $5.6 million investment, and East Coast Asphalt contractor was the contractor. So I just wanted to call that one out as well. All right. As always, it's time to highlight the great work of the women and men of GDOT and some recognition, well-deserved recognition. And the first person I'd like to highlight is Dave Adams. At the 2024 Governor's Public Safety Awards event that was hosted by the governor recently, I'm proud to announce that GDOT State Safety Manager Dave Adams won the Outstanding Contribution to the Profession category. Dave accepted the award, which was personally bestowed by Governor Kemp. And I had to look at the picture. That picture on the left is, Governor doesn't have his, it's not like he's about to box with Dave. It's, if you look closely, he's got a nice medallion he's about to bestow upon Dave, okay? I did a double take. I was like, wow. So, okay. Dave has certainly accepted this award down at the Georgia Public Safety Training Center. The Georgia Public Safety Awards program was initiated back in 1998, and really with a focus to provide opportunity to highlight the men and women working in the public safety arena in Georgia and recognize their outstanding service. So some of Dave's accomplishments, of which he was recognized for this award, was serving as the director of the Georgia Accident Electronic Reporting System, which we call GEARS, which he oversees the processing of 325,000 crash reports annually from more than 400 law enforcement agencies. The work to get consistency and good data from these crash reports that drive so much that we do is a huge lift, and Dave has been the primary person leading that effort, and working with 400 law enforcement agencies is a challenge, let me just tell you. So that was one of the things he was recognized for. He was also recognized for his leadership in completely redesigning the Georgia Crash Report, of which law enforcement agencies use to populate the data, again, before it gets reported. And most recently, Dave directed the creation of GDOT's first web-based crash reporting instruction manual, providing crash investigators with real-time access to critical crash reporting information so they can get better data easily, all via the web. So Dave certainly has devoted his career and is passionate about enhancing safety for Georgia's motoring public. I can tell you his work, I'm sure, has saved many lives on Georgia's roadways and made safer for all. And I just say about Dave, he is a consummate professional, and he does such a good job, has been recognized at other places as well, and we're so glad to have Dave on the team doing the great work. I think Dave is here, so I'm going to ask Dave to stand up so we can embarrass him. No. Maybe I'm embarrassed. Yeah, so Dave's working on data, I assure you. So congratulations to Dave. Next, another recognition, Georgia's Department of Transportation's Office of Environmental Services received the Georgia Historical Records Council 2024 Award for Excellence in Documenting Georgia's History for the Georgia Statewide Cemetery Context, titled Identification and Evaluation of Georgia's Historical Burial Grounds. This document provides a narrative history of Georgia's cemeteries and provides tools to the National Register of Historical Places, which is NRHP. I'm having a hard time talking. So this recognition and preservation of historical places is important and necessary work, which places more and even more importance on these properties as we develop projects and as others develop projects. The historical property type must be identified and evaluated by the NRHP eligibility. There's often much uncertainty on whether cemeteries are eligible or not eligible resources, which can cause months of delay as we develop projects, and as others develop projects. So this document adds to clarity to that, and allowing practitioners to have a playbook, if you will, to evaluate the cemeteries for their eligibility, and then help streamline the environmental process. This year, OES also won some other awards, very proud of: the Excellence in Preservation Service Award, the National Council on Public History Award for the Outstanding Public History Project for a Large Institution Award, and an award from the Georgia Trust of Historic Preservation. So I just want to congratulate Eric Duff and the entire Office of Environmental Services team for all they do to help preserve Georgia's history, help streamlining our environmental processes so that we can advance projects in a very responsible and sensitive way. So just congratulations for them for this recognition. It certainly is making things better. Next, just to update you, just a week or so ago now, we had the 30th Annual Georgia Transportation Summit, which is co-hosted with Georgia DOT and the American Council of Engineering Companies of Georgia over in Athens. It was held on December 3rd. As I said, the 30th anniversary of this annual event, so that's got quite a history when you hit that milestone. And again, this is where transportation leaders and representatives from ACEC Georgia and Georgia highway contractors and everybody that has anything to do with transportation comes together and works together. There were 1,700 attendees, so it's a big event, certainly a big event, and it's continued to grow every year from that 30th. I was honored to provide an update from GDOT during the general session. Also, we heard again from Michael Sully Sullivan, President and CEO of ACEC Georgia. We heard from Griff Lynch, President and CEO of Georgia Ports Authority, Collie Greenwood, General Manager and CEO of MARTA, Anna Roach, the Executive Director of the Atlanta Regional Commission, and Frank Rucker, the Airport Deputy General Manager on Hartsfield-Jackson's International Airport. And really a great day, but also we had the bottom left picture there, and you can see that we went back to the original 30 years ago when all this started under the guise of the National Quality Initiative, which was codified in law back then. And then this became again, a 30-year tradition. And I want to recognize one of the people in the room with us today is Tom Turner, who retired from the Division Director of Construction. And Tom was instrumental in starting this. And when we started this, it wasn't something anybody wanted to do. Why would we want to work with contractors? And why would contractors want to work with us? And Tom and Bill Hammock on the stage, Bill Hammock from C.W. Matthews, were instrumental in pulling this first event together. And one of the things that Bill said I thought was really funny, because I missed the first one, I went to the second one, is that when he came up on the stage and looked in the audience, the contractors were on one side and the DOT people were on the other side. So they had some work to do. But I want to thank Tom for his leadership here at Georgia DOT and for really starting something that has now a long-standing history of working together. And, the common thread there is quality, and that's something that we have and we hold very important to us is quality projects, whether it's through the design process, right-of-way, environmental, all the way through the construction, operations, and maintenance. Quality is so important, and I think you can see that effort for everybody working together as you ride around this state, or if you want to know the difference, ride in some other states. I won't name any of those, but you pick. All right, so part of this ACEC summit we do every year is also to highlight the Georgia Partnership for Transportation Quality Awards. We affectionately call GPTQ to make it shorter. So, and these are certainly very important awards that are recommended and reviewed by a team for projects, and it really is great to see all the things that's been done. We've had so many people, as you can see, the names of our team members that were recognized for many of the awards. It is just a really point of pride to be nominated and to be considered and to win. So, again, the focus is on quality. So congratulations to our team members that are all part of some winning projects. And thank you I know several board members made it over to Athens. Thank you all for your participation there. And we'll do the 31st next year. Again, just talking about the great work of the women and men of GDOT, it's always great, and the governor and the first lady especially challenges state agencies to help foster kids in Georgia by providing at least 3 gifts to what they would like to have under the tree on Christmas morning. And I just can't say enough, again, to the generosity of our team here at GDOT, from office heads and district engineers and division directors and the executive team for covering 35 kids in foster care this year. We had Santa's sleigh help deliver those toys to the Capitol, as you can see that. Santa's sleigh comes from the Office of Equipment Management. That's where we house Santa's sleigh. So certainly thank them, and a huge shout out to the Office of Human Resources, Tweed Nedrick and the whole HR team there for working to collect and coordinate giving the gifts. So Santa's elves are in HR, and his sleigh is at the Office of Equipment Management. So we certainly appreciate all they do there and to make somebody's Christmas a little better. Well, it is that time of year, and some of you send family letters and receive family letters. And as I was sitting down to think about today, I thought, well, maybe we should just write a letter to Santa and make sure he knows what list we need to be on. And so I thought that we would do that, and so started a little letter with a help from a little elf, I might say. I always need help, so we had a little elf to help us out. And so the letter goes something like this. Dear Santa, hope you're in good health and ready for the holiday season. I want you to know that throughout 2024, GDOT has been working very hard to provide a safe, innovative, and an efficient transportation system for the citizens of Georgia. And Santa, let me recap the ways GDOT's been working to make it on the nice list this year. That's the list we want to be on. First, I'd like to tell you about the department signed a historic agreement that streamlined GDOT projects while help preserving bat habitats. Back in February, GDOT announced that the department had signed a bat programmatic agreement with the Georgia Department of Natural Resources. This is the first kind of agreement in the nation, and it created a statewide process to streamline interagency consultation that's required under the federal law and the Endangered Species Act and for related projects. It's an example of what can be accomplished when state agencies work together to look for a better outcome. Santa, the BAT programmatic agreement also won the 2024 Federal Highway Administration's Environmental Award, which recognizes leaders from across the country that make contributions to environmental stewardship and went above and beyond traditional transportation project outcomes. So Santa, that might be enough to just keep us on the nice list, but wait, Santa, there's more. Santa, let me tell you about the roadway safety educational programs the department launched in 2024. Keep Georgia Safe is the comprehensive K through 12 car and road safety educational program in partnership with We Are Teachers, a leading national educational media organization. This 5-year program provided by GDOT at no cost to schools or teachers, let me say that again, at no cost to schools or teachers, teaching road and pedestrian safety in Georgia's classrooms, offers smart and ready-to-use classroom resources designed to install this vital safety skills in students from a very young age. This initiative marks a huge step forward in road safety education, focusing on students from elementary grades through high school to build a foundation of road safety awareness, again, from an early age. In Santa, DOT from across the nations have been reaching out to GDOT, asking for us to share this information and how they might do this in their state. Next, Santa, let me tell you about the $1.5 billion to celebrate from Governor Kemp's amended FY24 budget recommendation and approved by the House and Senate. This funding was immediately allocated to transportation projects across the state, advancing projects serving as a down payment for the future expansion of Georgia, and as we continue to experience record growth and record jobs in manufacturing and freight and logistics. It will more than double the state's fundings to cities and counties this year for local transportation infrastructure projects, and we've got that money out the door quickly, Santa. It will also help the department maintain the state's transportation network and promote further economic growth and prioritize freight movement and provide safe travels to all Georgians. Santa, the people of Georgia are very grateful to the governor and the legislature for this additional funding that will help keep Georgia competitive and keep Georgia moving. Santa, in 2024, a new State Route 42, which is North Druid Hills Road Bridge over North Fort Peachtree Creek, opened after a 90-day closure. The old bridge was built in 1962, and it had to do a 5-mile detour, so we appreciate everybody's patience, and maybe Santa give them a little break if people are not being nice, if they had to deal with that detour, especially Stacy. Give her a little grace on that. Yeah, she's being nice. The department is very grateful, but equally important is the opening of Children's Healthcare of Atlanta associated with this project, and that we had this project open for them as that new hospital opened, which was a critical date. So Santa, thank you for remembering us for the work we have done thus far on North Druid Hills and making CHOA's move a success as well. Next, Santa, Georgia's transportation infrastructure received high marks from ASCE. In July, the American Society of Civil Engineers, or ASCE, did their 2024 infrastructure report card for the state of Georgia. ASCE is the country's oldest national engineering organization, representing over 160,000 civil engineers. Every 5 years, the organization issues an infrastructure report card for evaluating how state's infrastructure systems are working. In 2024, the group gave the state of Georgia an overall grade of C+. Well, Santa, you know, that's better than the national average of C-. And the state's transportation system considered the highlight with a significant contributor to the overall score. In bridges category, Georgia improved from a C+ to a B from the last 5 years. In the road category, you will receive a C+, which is better than the national grade of D. This report also states that 67% of Georgia's interstates are in good condition, which is 7% higher than it was in 2019. So we're making progress, Santa. The state is ranked as the sixth best state among all 50 states for overall road conditions. Santa, we might dispute that, but we'll keep working. Santa, the department is very proud of the accomplishments, but we understand Georgia's growing, and we're committed to continue to try to address the growing needs of the state. Also, Santa, the ITS World Congress Hall of Fame was created in 2010 to recognize luminaries with the true thought leaders in the ITS field internationally. The department won an award this year for its joint agency data acquisition and management program in partnership with the Atlanta Regional Commission, which improved the big data acquisition process. This program aimed to enhance data analytics capabilities, reduce data duplication and associated analysis, and overall lower agency cost. Again, recognized as a world winner there at the ITS World Congress. Santa, the department has an excellent working relationship with ITS organizations because they've shared the goal of utilizing ITS systems to save lives and improve mobility. Santa, the State Transportation Board has selected an operations, maintenance, and commercialization partner for GDOT's broadband project across Georgia's interstates, which will install over 1,400 miles of broadband infrastructure along the interstates to provide faster, more reliable broadband access to our ITS and traffic systems management operations, but also to hopefully connect communities and households across 70 Georgia counties. This program will expand broadband access throughout the state and ensure rural and underserved communities can access online services for critical things like education, healthcare, and economic opportunities. Santa, the OMC partner represents an innovative approach in project delivery that will help expand broadband access across the state. Santa, we're very thankful for the State Route 400 Express Lane project. As the board approved this back in August, these optional express lanes will offer choice for drivers on State Route 400 to bypass congestion and have more reliable trips. Just last month, the department reached commercial close with State Route 400 Peach Partners, our private sector partner, which allows us to advance design, start environmental reevaluation in the permitting process. Santa, it's a very technical project, but know the Georgia Department of Transportation has made great strides in advancing State Route 400 Express Lane projects in 2024 to advance the mobility in the state of Georgia. And Santa, it was the largest P3 deal in the United States history. Well, the letter went on to say several things, and, that Santa, that you can see GDOT's continuously working for a safe and efficient transportation network for the both families and businesses of Georgia. And more importantly, everybody at the department, Santa, would like drivers to put down their cell phones, buckle up, slow down, and drive sober in this holiday season. It's our sincere hope that everyone arrives home safely to their loved ones, and it's signed, sincerely, GDOT. So I certainly appreciate the ELF helping me with this creativity, and it highlights the great work that we have done around the state, again, as we try to take care of the 10th largest transportation system in the nation with almost 4,000 employees. So it's always a great time to reflect and share, and hopefully Santa listens to some of those good things on our list and keeps us on the nice list. But on a personal note, I just want to thank each of you on the board for your leadership and your direction and for what you do that empower us to do these great things and to have such a nice, robust list to send to Santa. Because without your leadership, we wouldn't be able to do what we're able to do. So, Madam Chair, that concludes my report. Tim, how much time do I have?
I'll give you 10 more minutes.
All right, okay.
Anytime that we have a letter to Santa that is this good, we don't mind listening to the results of the year's work through our GDOT staff, all employees involved. And what a Merry Christmas letter to receive as we send it to Santa because we are so grateful for what our department does for our state, but also those other states that reach in and want the knowledge from us that we have participated in so many wonderful projects. And they too want to ditto the things that we have found that work in our state of Georgia. So I think that we should give a round of applause to all of our GDOT employees and to each of us as board members for being so involved in our government process to make Georgia what it is today and to make our GDOT what it is with the growth that we have in the United States. And we certainly are highlighted throughout the United States. So let's give that hands of applause. And does anyone have any questions of our commissioner? I think he doesn't want the last 10 minutes, so you can come on down. But we thank you for that report. It was very good, and I think the reminders to each of us of what is accomplished in our state is very valuable, not only to us, but our public, as they too hear exactly what is going on. At this time, I want to call on for our administrative committee board to the report to the board, and that is the vice chair, Micah Gravely, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Administrative Committee convened on December 11th, 2024 at 1:30 p.m. Board members present included Chairman Kirk Thompson, Micah Gravely, Robert Brown, Kathy Williams, Tim Golden, Ann Purcell, Dennis McIntyre, Stacy Key, Rudy Bowen, Emily Dunn, Jeff Lewis, Dan Snipes, and Dana Lemon. First order of business, Nicole Glenn, the department's recruitment manager, provided a recruitment update. She talked about the department's efforts with pipeline recruitment. This fall, GDOT partnered with the Fernbank Science Center and DeKalb County Schools to teach over 70 ninth grade students about civil engineering, bridge design, and careers in transportation. This was just one of many efforts for the pipeline recruitment efforts. She also spoke about the GDOT Summer Internship Program. GDOT welcomed the largest summer intern class, a class of 104 interns, to offices statewide. She also shared the most recent recruitment efforts with the Technical College System of Georgia. GDOT partnered with the Technical College System of Georgia to recruit civil engineering technology students. GDOT subject matter experts have participated in workforce panels, worked with faculty, and reviewed curriculum to help with this effort. Expanding the program provides resources to the areas that are notoriously difficult to recruit in. Candidates in this program are hired in a variety of areas throughout the department. However, their true value is stabilizing construction in the districts. When CETs are hired here at GDOT, they are given unique opportunities here to become construction project managers. We look forward to opening the summer internship program to these students this summer and then welcoming them into the department as full-time employees after graduation. There were no actions taken during the committee, and the committee adjourned at 1:43 p.m., and this concludes my report.
Thank you so much. At this time, we'll hear from our legislative committee, chaired by Dan Snipes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Legislative Committee convened on December 11th, 2024 at 1:44 p.m. Board members present included myself, Mr. Thompson, Mr. Gravely, Mr. Golden, Ms. Dunn, Ms. Purcell, Mr. McIntyre, Ms. Williams, Mr. Brown, Ms. Key, Mr. Bowen, Mr. Lewis, and Ms. Lemon. Our first order of business was Joshua Waller, the Director of Policy and Government Affairs, reviewed 3 proposed statutory changes in the 2025 legislative agenda. First, these proposals were first presented at a November committee meeting for the committee's consideration, and then re-presented with a recommendation for approval by the board. The committee actions, I called for a motion to approve the proposed 2025 legislative agenda. Mr. Gravely made a motion to approve, seconded by Mr. Thompson, and the motion was unanimously approved. The committee adjourned at 1:49 p.m. On behalf of the Legislative Committee, I now come before the full board asking for a motion to approve the proposed 2025 legislative agenda.
Are you going to make that motion, or would you like it? Okay.
I'll make that.
Dan has made the motion. Is there a second? I have a second. Is there any questions? Then I call for the vote. All those in favor of approval of the proposed 2025 legislative agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed likewise, the ayes carry. We will now go to our intermodal committee, and the committee chairman is Emily Dunn. Ms. Dunn?
Thank you. The Intermodal Committee convened on December 11, 2024 at 1:50. Board members present included myself, Lemon, McIntyre, Thompson, Williams, Purcell, Brown, Key, Bowen, Golden, Lewis, Snipes, and Gravely. Our first order of business, Colette Williams, our Aviation Program Manager, gave an update on the commercial airport funding study. GDOT completed the 2024 Commercial Service Airport Capital Improvement Plan funding analysis in response to recommendations from the Georgia Joint Legislative Study Committee on Airport Infrastructure and Improvements. This analysis focused on project costs per fiscal year 25 through 29. The capital improvement plans submitted to GDOT in 2023 for 7 commercial service airports. The study compared the capital improvement plan costs to the historical funding and identified several potential funding gaps. There were no actions taken during this committee, and our committee adjourned at 12:05. This concludes my report.
Thank you. Now we go into the committee reports from the full board, and the committee of the whole convened yesterday, December the 11th, at 1:50 p.m. Our board members present, including myself, McIntyre, Williams, Brown, Key, Bowen, Thompson, Golden, Dunn, Lewis, Snipes, and Gravely. The first order of business, the Office of Intermodal and the Office of Legal Services proposed amendments to Rule Chapter 672-12, which is our grant programs, and Aviation Rule 672-9-3, the airport licensing minimum standards. The purpose of the amendments is to update language in the rules to reflect current program operations. Opening these rules will allow the public to make comment on the proposed amendments through January the 19th, 2025, after which time the board will consider them for adoption at our February the 20th, 25 meeting. The second order of business, Sam Harris, the State Safety Program Manager and President of the Georgia section of the ITE, made a presentation about the SEAM Summer Camp hosted in partnership with Art is Our Out Therapy Practice at GDOT's Transportation Management Center on July the 13th through the 14th. The camp introduced nearly 80 children to transportation engineering and planning through hand-on activities tailored to the different ages in the group. Licensed therapists and IT volunteers led the sessions using curriculum development with the IT STEM resources. Our highlights included interactive sessions by the Georgia State Patrol, the GDOT Hero Units, and over $2,600 in scholarships funded by the NV5 and Thomas Hutton, supporting disadvantaged children. The camp received overwhelming positive feedback, showcasing its success and sparkling enthusiasm for the STEAM program. The third order of business was the president and CEO of the Georgia Highway Contractors, who is David Mullerin. He gave us an update about the GHCA High School Caterpillar Simulations Programs and how it has grown over the last 3 years throughout Georgia. He highlighted the interest it brings students to work in construction, and he actually brought a simulator for board members to try. And I will say I did get some photographs of those board members trying to use that simulator. Our committee action, I made a motion, or asked for a motion to send the proposed amendments to Rule Chapter 672-12, grant programs, and the Rule 672-9-.03, airport licensing minimum standards to the full board in order for the full board to vote today at our board meeting to make these rules open to the public for comment. Kathy Williams made a motion to approve the rules to public comment. That was seconded by Dennis McIntyre. The committee adjourned at 3:15 p.m. This concludes our report of the committee as a whole. I will now ask for a motion from the board, from the full board pursuant to the Georgia Administrative Procedure Act, to give notice to the public of the intention of the Georgia Department of Transportation and amend the rules, Chapter 672-12, Grant Programs, and Rule 672-9-.03, Airports Licensing Minimum Standards, with a period for our public comment ending January the 13th, 2025, and further action by the board to adopt these rules at our formal meeting on February the 20th of 2025. That is in the form of a motion. Do I now have a second I have a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, then I ask for your vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed likewise, the ayes carry it, and this will move forward as we go through here. Now we're down to new business. Any new business that needs to be brought up? Any comments? Well, I want to again say thank you to everyone because of the commitment that you have given as a board, but also the commitment that we see from the 3,973 employees, and we're adding every day because we're going to make that 4,000 mark. But I want to say thank you to each and every one. And to those that are here today attending in person, maybe listening online, I want to say thanks to you. It takes every one of us as partnerships to come together to achieve what we have achieved with the Georgia Department of Transportation. And with that, I wish you happy Hanukkah and a Merry Christmas, a safe one, and safe journeys back home. This concludes our meeting.
Your meeting, crazy.